call this meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. This meeting is being recorded, so if anyone else is recording, please let me know now. And because we have a counselor online, we will be taking any votes by roll call. So we'll do a roll call of members. Councilor Mastrocataro?
Here.
Councilor Minhouse?
Here.
Councilor Brown? Here. Councilor Gordon? Here. Councilor Golub is here. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes from October 9th, 2024?
Motion to accept the minutes.
And then once, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
So any discussion? Any discussion of the minutes? No? All right, so we will vote to accept the minutes. Councilor Mastrocataro?
Yes.
Councilor Minhas?
Yes.
Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Gordon?
Yep.
Councilor Golub? Yes. All right, now we will have time for public comment. And I will, if you are online and wish to give public comment, please put your name in the chat box, please. And I will first call on members of the public who are here in person, and then I will call on members of the public online, and you will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will have a timer here. So when the timer goes off, you will hear it. We will all hear it. Please end at that point. Thank you. All right. So can I have the list? Who's first on the list? You know that.
Yeah.
Who's first? All right. Come on up.
Mitch Spate, 2 Chestnut Hill, Greenfield. I'm here tonight to congratulate the city of Greenfield. Finally establishing the Elderly Disabled Taxation Fund. It's a much needed program here for the seniors and elders, especially been getting a lot of calls from the widows in town who feel as though they're being approached by predatory
Can I
lenders.
I want to pause you so you get full attention. I just want to interrupt whatever. There's sound happening. Can you mute yourself, Councilor Mastrocataro? It sounds like you have music on and I want the public to get full attention. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I start over or just go?
Do you want to start
I
over?
can-
Okay.
As I was saying, I'm getting calls also from many widows in town who are being approached by predatory lenders and so on and so forth about acquiring their properties. Now, I know it's been mentioned that, they have homes that maybe have substantial square footage. And some folks feel as though that they no longer either need it or deserve it. I think that's a choice that they should be allowed to make. And if they decide that they want to stay there, then let's support that. And again, I want to thank Counselor at Large Wahab Minas. He saw merit in this program. It's been in existence since 1998. And so it's taken several decades for Greenfield to even take a look at it. But now that it's in place, let's just not let it sit in a toolbox, but actually use it to keep seniors and elders in their homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Jo Marie Jackson?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jo Marie Jackson, 2 Chestnut Hill in Greenfield, Massachusetts. I'm happy to find out that the Appointments and Ordinances has welcomed this new program for Greenfield, the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund. We've done quite a bit of research on it. We've called other cities and towns to see how they've been progressing with it, and they say it's a very good program to have available to constituents. So this is a first for Greenfield. Counselor at Large Wahab Minhas, we're so grateful for your giving attention to this, being open-minded about it, being persistent about it in getting the DOR to get a sign off and consistent with moving the process forward so it can be accepted. And that is something new and we can build upon for Greenfield, for the constituents, to defray their taxes, to prevent foreclosures, and give the elderly and disabled a little more stability, and letting them know that they would like to be here and stay here, and we care about them, and to actually put something into action to help them stay here. It shows that we all are paying attention to their needs. So let's do our best to this is a seed of faith that we're building today, and let's let it reap a ripe harvest for them, okay? Because they've done so much for us already to make this a beautiful town and a vibrant town. So let's carry that on as their legacy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Stephanie Duclos in the chat.
Hold on one
Hello. Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you get your full time. Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie Duclos.
Hi, Stephanie Duclos, 166 Chapman Street. Fully support the programs that or the what Mitchell and Mitch and Joan just spoke about, but that's not why I'm calling it. I do have some concerns about the discussion item, some of the amendments about public comment and the I wrote it through Wahab, so I'm going to end up forgetting the vagueness of what reasonableness is. So, can we at least give a timeline or, maybe a definition within your amendments that would define what would be considered reasonable, or a reference to maybe a legal document for the definition of reasonable, so that, if someone says, well, hey, I wanted to speak on this, it was an urgent matter, the sky's falling, that they're not going to be silenced because of a technicality in a language of a public comment. And when the vagueness of a document's language comes through, it's really hard to make it enforceable. I totally support, obviously, public comment and the ability to, speak your voice to the things that matter to you. I'm a little disappointed tonight about the fact that the school committee regarding the SRO was also, the public comment was exactly the same time of the start of this meeting. So, this was more important to me to ensure that the people get a chance to speak. Now, I would also like to speak to the accessibility portion of that. I'm going to reference an experience that I have. This is a personal experience with a request for a remote link to a meeting because of mental health issues of members of my family not being able to attend in person. And then when was denied that link into a meeting or the opportunity to be remote, was then at that same meeting subsequently asked to leave by the police or by the chair or acting chair at the time. And then the police were called and he was subsequently escorted out. So I believe that disability should be as broad as that category is defined in ADA standards, to include those that are not physical, so that if you cannot, for some reason, you have anxiety or whatever that disability may qualify as, that you're not forced to put yourself in what I would consider maybe harm of your own mental health to have to appear in person if that's not a safe way for you to, to feel like you can communicate to the boards and commissions. So I think it's absolutely integral that we offer all opportunity for people to come in physically, but also be able to attend remotely and through emails. And I would love to see email communications, so, in support or I'll wrap it up in support or against.
Thank you. Yeah, can you finish that sentence?
Yes.
That
So
sentence?
I'd like to see the emails made public as well, like, when they document it in the minutes, that the emails are also, attached with an agenda, because maybe there's a lot of important emails that come along with the communications. So
Thank you. Thank you very much. I see, Colin, your hand raised. In order to speak, is their name in the chat?
Just.
If your name is not in the chat, can you please write it there first?
Chat. No.
Can you just let us know, are you writing your name in the chat?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Thank you
typed
very
something in the
much.
chat.
Oh, wait a minute to see it appear. Can you just let us know when it appears?
They wrote yes.
You'll need
Oh,
to
I-
write your name in the chat in order to participate in public comments.
I apologize.
Okay,
The specific length and reason is really
hold on,
interesting.
Colin, are you able to write your name in the chat? That's required in order for us to hear public comment.
Yeah,
Thank you. Great, thank you so much. And you'll have 3 minutes. Yeah, you can start now.
I meant to say that I really appreciate everyone's masterful grappling with, everyday, millions of things and the entire universe, right? We live in the garden, floating in the universe, and it's just bliss being alive all the time. So, working with people and trying to make Greenfield a better place, it's like this continuous shifting of the dialogue of where are we meeting people, what's going on, and when I arrive to what everyone's saying, I hear people, caring a lot and trying really hard and working with the system as it is. And so I just want to promote the community, and I hope that the downtown, the main street gets repaired soon, because every time I'm driving my car, it's so rough. I feel like I'm going to burst one of my tires cutting it on the main street, And I'm looking forward to the Christmas lights, and I just really appreciate you guys working so hard today.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate that. And I realized that I forgot to ask you your name, to state your name and where you live. Could you please do that?
You did put it in the chat.
Did you put your address in the chat as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then that
Mine-
need is,
Yeah, I'm Colin Paul Woodard of 31 Haywood Street.
Okay.
McDonald's. I'm right next to
Thank you.
McDonald's.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And to reopen my computer. Oops. Stuck.
And Colin, if you can just make sure that you mute again. Just so we don't accidentally hear anything.
Yeah.
That you don't want us to.
Thank you.
Thank you, and to promote Greenfield. We're all
Yeah, well,
working
wait.
together.
I'm sorry to have to do this, but we do need to limit public comment, but I really appreciate you coming and sharing with us tonight. Okay, so we're going to shift to, there are no public hearings. And we're going to shift to the motion for appointments and reappointments. It's on page 5. Can someone please read that?
Get there. The City Council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council pursuant to Charter Section 2-10 affirms the following appointments and reappointments by the mayor. Board of Health, Ellis Taylor, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Board of License Commissioners, Randall Bernard, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Commission on Disability Access, Douglas Mayo, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Council on Aging, Margot Townley, Michelle Delicio, and I apologize if I get any of these names wrong for the record, terms to expire December 31st, 2027. Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund Committee, newly established, Jim Geisman, Board of Assessors Chair, term to expire December 31st, 2025. Stella Chan, is that supposed to be struck from
I
this?
do believe it's supposed to be struck.
I think.
Yeah, but read it as is and then we
And then
can
we'll amend it, yeah. Stella Chan, acting treasurer, term to expire December 31st, 2026. Wahab Minhas, counselor, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Gary George, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Franklin County Technical School, Barbara Yetter, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Greenfield Redevelopment Authority, Otis Wheeler, Jean Wall, terms to expire December 31st, 2027. Historical Commission, Douglas Mayo, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Mayor's Task Force Against Domestic Violence, Matthew Conway, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Majority vote required. And can I make a motion? Oh, we have to second that first.
Second that first. Second, okay.
Is Stella?
I-
What's going on with that?
We're going to, I'd like to see a motion to amend and remove her name. That's what the email said.
Oh,
I honestly haven't looked more into it than that, so I could hear back that they want to bring her name back, but I think for safety's sake, let's remove her for right now.
Yeah, so I move that we strike the Stella Chan from this motion on the advice of the city clerk.
Second.
Any discussion of the amendment?
So I don't know the background, the details of this, but we received an email saying that Stella's name should be removed from this, if I'm understanding that correctly. So
all right.
We could,
should we
we
check
could
that?
just pause and look at our email.
Let's
very
do that.
briefly.
How about we do that?
We have the time to do that. I am bringing up my email and Stella Chan. Yeah, removal of Stella Chan from appointments. So on Friday, November 8th, the council, Mayor DeSorger sent an email to Tammy in the clerk's office saying, please remove Stella Chan from the appointment list. And Tammy forwarded that to us. So that's the rationale for removing.
I'm fine with doing that. I do just it's been a few months, but I think there was some sort of a requirement that someone from the finance, like how Jim is added on from the assessors, that someone from the finance department also has to be there.
That's my recollection is.
If I remember, it was the director of finance, or the
Okay,
treasurer.
so have you reached out to the mayor since receiving this?
I
email?
haven't, this actually just slipped.
Okay,
I
could,
did not see this.
so I will,
can do that.
thank you.
We can go ahead with removing it, but maybe there's someone else from the finance department that wants to join or something like that.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to move ahead with the amendment, and then if we need to
Yeah.
add her back in next
Yeah.
month, we could do that.
okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Any other discussion on the amendment? Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Right now, we're voting on the amendment as proposed to remove Stella Chan from the list. Counselor Master Totaro,
Yes.
Counselor Minhas?
Yes.
Counselor Brown? Yes. Counselor Gordon?
Yes.
Counselor Golub, yes. Okay. All right. So then any discussion on the motion at hand for the entire list of appointments and reappointments?
I'll just say, as I always do, really appreciate these folks stepping forward. There's so much work to be done, and it's great to see so many people willing to do it. So thank you all.
Yeah, and just I am grateful for the supportive words from a new community member coming to give public comment about how great Greenfield is. And I agree. I love Greenfield. And one of the things I love about Greenfield is all of the people who give their steady support. And also I'm really excited that we're appointing all these people, maybe not everyone we need just tonight, but I'm really excited to see the taxation fund committee being formed.
Yeah, and again, thank you to everyone who's stepping up to the plate and, for the elderly and disabled fund, I did have a message from Gary George, who wasn't able to meet today, who's one of the appointees. Could I read that?
Sure.
I think he addressed you, Chairman Gold. He says, "Dear Chairman Gold, I am looking forward to serving as a member of the new Elderly Disabled Taxation Fund in Greenfield as a member recommended by the mayor. As an elder myself, I know that we can help some of our neighbors stay in their homes. I am especially interested in examining how this fund could be used to help homeowners who are dealing with tax errors that could lead to foreclosure if no intervention happens. Thank you for considering my appointment. Gary George, 91 Smith Street, Greenfield, Mass." So yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone who was involved in this process from the public. This was a long time coming, and I think this is indicative of the fact that we are public servants and we're here to deliver to the public and be of assistance. And I'd like to thank everyone on this committee who supported this and helping this go forward. So thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote. Counselor Master Taro,
Yes.
Counselor Midnight,
Yes.
Counselor Brown, Counselor Gordon,
Yes.
Counselor Bullock, yes. All right. So the one item for discussion is the hybrid meetings ordinance. So I want to share a bit before we talk about this. First of all, one of the things that excites me the most about this is the work that so many different people in the city put into it. It's been a process. There's been months that we couldn't meet in, months we could meet in, but Fernando Fleury from the head of our IT department, Kathy from the clerk's office, Matt, and then Keith Barnacle from before, and Aaron's been part of it. The mayor's office has been really supportive. Christian from the economic development department. So many people have really engaged with this. And also we've had a lot of support from the ACLU informing this and really making sure that it is well vetted, and it's had many iterations. So I'm really grateful for the hard work. And today I do not want to bring it for a vote. I want to make sure that we really give this given how much work has happened until now, I want to make sure that it's fully vetted and as supported as possible by our committee before we take it to the full council. And so today I want to give us an opportunity to really discuss it and understand it, and have you ask your questions. I may be able to answer all of them. There may be questions like the question from the community that I want to spend some time making sure that we're able to answer adequately. So you may have questions that I'm able to answer now, and there may be questions that us bringing it for a vote next month will allow us to take time to answer them. But I really want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard. And I know that this is not our typical process, but this is a new ordinance. We don't often, when I say this is not a typical process, what I'd actually like us to do is read this together and ask any questions that come up. This is a new ordinance, and we rarely see brand new ordinances like this. So I want to make sure that we really give this the time to really have it be vetted and have questions be asked. Yeah. And I do want to say, echoing from the community, that the intent of this and hopefully the impact of it is increasing accessibility for people with all disabilities, and also who don't have the economic means. parents with children at home who can't come to a meeting, or someone who doesn't have a car ride that night, or something like that. Increasing accessibility to really like the comment was about, making sure that everyone is really able to speak, and that public comment is as supported as possible. So that's intent, and I hope very much the impact of this. Any questions before? So what I'm proposing for process is that we read this together, and that as we go, write down any questions that you have, so that when we end reading, then we can go around and discuss the questions that come up.
You want us to read it out loud together?
Yeah, actually, that is what I
Okay.
want to do. It's a brand new.
I've read it in detail. And
Do you
I just-
disagree with that? And
It's
I also am willing to hear pushback. I am.
It's just, I mean, if that would be useful to anyone, I'm more than happy to do it.
Okay.
I have looked at this in detail prior to this meeting, and it's a very long, relatively
Okay,
long.
I hear that
pushback. And I just don't- I'm not that kind of processor,
Yeah.
so it actually doesn't help me to hear things read out loud.
Okay. As the mother of a 16-year-old who's like such an auditory processor, my
Right.
bias is to reading out loud.
Which is totally fine.
But I want to hear this. What do other folks say?
I've read this and I'm
Okay.
actually very happy with it. It seems very thorough. And I mean, if folks want to talk more about it, that's fine. But I, for one, am good with it.
Cool. Okay. All right, let's go around. Maybe we don't even.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I've read it as well. I think it's good. I don't know, that question about, where it's mentioned disabilities, perhaps if we could, you know,
Can you point me to what line that is? Wait, can I just pause you for a sec? Does anyone besides Catherine, want to read this out loud? No, I see your face.
I mean, I'm
You're like me. All right,
Great.
strike. That was the proposal. It has been.
this.
I mean, I think what might be helpful if, I don't know if this is something you're prepared to do, like, put you on the spot, but like, if there are ways that this is different from what we are doing now with hybrid meetings, if you could point those out, that might be useful.
Okay. Yes.
But like, just generally, what is this about? You know,
Okay.
just for
Yeah.
public.
So maybe as you asked that, maybe I have been, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week and I have not prepared a presentation
No,
on this.
nor do I.
Just-
and I ask you for
So
that, yeah.
I'm gonna go through and then I want to find that reasonableness piece and I'm flagging it to take some more time with it. All right, so what this says is that currently, and the folks from the ACLU can give you more details on this, but currently hybrid meetings are allowed under Massachusetts. And I don't know that it's not a general law because I think that I just saw a presentation from Progressive Mass yesterday in which they said that the state brought forward, or there was a bill brought forward to make hybrid meetings law in Massachusetts and it did not pass. This is my understanding. They're currently allowed under something, but they're not currently law. And so our right to do this could be removed. And so what this does is takes a stand for accessibility and making sure that it becomes law in Greenfield. And quite frankly, I think this is something that we should be proud of because a lot of municipalities are just following what the state does, and this is us taking a stance for accessibility. So
Can I
go ahead.
add something to that?
Yeah. Mhm. Feel free to jump in, folks.
My understanding is that like there were like hybrid meetings weren't a thing until COVID. Obviously, COVID made them a thing. And what has happened since then is that the state has not proactively said we require everyone to provide hybrid meeting technology, but it has said that going forward, because for a while it was temporary, right?
Mhm.
And the state was like, you can do it for now.
Mhm.
And my understanding is that now the state has said, you can do it, but they're not mandating that we do it. So that's
Well,
So
it's
this could be like a
allowed,
mandate?
this becomes Greenfield law.
right.
Okay.
It becomes Greenfield law. Any ordinance is Greenfield law. It's currently allowed, but the allowance is not permanent. I don't believe that Massachusetts has not permanently allowed municipal, it's not like they passed.
Okay.
They've not passed, my understanding is that the state legislature hasn't created state general law stating that municipalities have the option to opt in.
Okay. I might just be not totally caught up. I thought that it was part of what passed.
And you can ask that
That's
question.
something that I can
I'm gonna see if Javier from the ACLU is able to join us to answer any other questions.
Oh,
next
that would
time.
be great.
So you can ask him. He will know more about that. So then going down, any questions about that first 49.5? Basically the intent.
Yeah, I think that the 49.5 is like what we do now, essentially.
What we do now essentially, and going to 49.6, it's what the city council has done.
Right.
However, the city is committed to expanding hybrid accessibility. And so part of our discussions have been about which bodies specifically would be included in this ordinance. And these are the ones that have been over the past year or more working to be able to hold their meetings hybrid. And not all city bodies are included in this list because we're currently working to expand our technology and specifically with the library being able to access that space. And so that's why these bodies are there. Currently, I had considered putting school committees, subcommittees on this, but, and it is very possible that that will be expanded, but we included in a hybrid manner or remotely because currently their subcommittees are held remotely. And there's, I can't speak for school committee members, but I have a hope, I personally would advocate for and hope that their meetings become hybrid so that people could actually attend in person as well. But so this also says that a public body is not required, that is not required, may elect to opt in. And we can amend this at any point to add new bodies.
May
Yeah, go for it.
well, Roman numeral 15 sort of covers the gamut, right? Any other public body that shall be designated by the city council from time to time.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
any future or anything, committees or commissions or anything that we may have missed, it's covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that allows for it to be both temporary, like if we designate that they need to meet hybrid. Like if there's a really important meeting coming up, they can meet hybrid. It also means that if we choose to amend this, of course, we can amend an ordinance. Yeah. So moving to 49.7.
Actually, can I ask some questions about
Abs-
49.6?
Go for it. Yeah.
I mean, in general, I love this. I'm with Michael. I think this is great. And I think as much as possible should be hybrid. And I know that you have done a ton of due diligence. This is a fairly long list of the bodies that would be hybrid, would conduct hybrid meetings if we pass this. And I would love to hear a little more about your conversation with particularly the IT department in Greenfield and how we can make sure that they actually have access to the technology that they need in order to actually be able to do this. Because I am conscious too that like, if somehow we don't have the technology available, then that meeting has to be canceled if it was posted as hybrid. And I don't want us to get into a situation where we actually, where it like, and I know that you don't either, you know, where it ends up decreasing somehow, you know, people's access to these meetings.
I know that when I spoke to Fernando a few months ago, he was really happy to come to a meeting. So I'm going to invite him instead of speaking out of turn. I know that he was very confident, but I don't want to speak on his behalf about specifically which technology made him so
Totally, yeah.
confident. So I'm going to invite him to come to our next meeting as well, or to if he's unable to do that, or to the full council
Mhm.
meeting. Or,
Great.
and if that's not
Thank you.
possible, to send us an email.
Yeah.
Also, were you saying that all of the ones that are listed here have already been having some sort of a hybrid?
For the most part, there's some that are very new and I don't know specifically which ones they are. I am gathering questions. So have they all been hybrid already?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It is,
Because if
yeah.
they have been, then it does certainly suggest that they
Yeah.
can continue.
I know that there's answers to these questions. Honestly, we met like last time I
I
met.
barely keep
Fernando
track
was
of
like-
our meetings.
Yeah, it was like 3 months. So the last meeting with Fernando was several months ago, and then Matt and Christian wanted to have a meeting, and then we amended it, and Javier from the ACO, you had a long conversation with Kathy, and then we amended it. So I know Fernando's very confident. I know that Matt spent a lot of time thinking about which bodies these were. I'll also ask him to come. But they are very confident that.
I mean, they're the people who have to make it happen.
Yeah.
So if they're very confident, then that
Yeah.
goes a long way with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be great if we can hear from Fernando
Okay,
at some point.
great. Anything else about 49.6?
Yeah.
So 49.7, I mean, I did read this report now and it's been a little while since the last time. Any questions about 49.7? That would be the easiest thing. Okay, as I go through, I will say, we went back and forth about number A, about how many people how many members of a body should have to be in person. We initially said 2, and part of that honestly was a safety concern of just having one person in a building by themselves. But Christian said that there were some bodies that that could mean that that could make it very hard for them to meet. And so we edited it to say 1 member of a public body, and he said that they could assure that there was adequate personnel when there's at least 2
Great.
human bodies in a meeting.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can there just be straight up remote meetings?
This means that meetings need to be hybrid, because part of it is democracy, being able to access appointed and elected officials in person. I really did not like moving subcommittee meetings from remote to in person. I begrudged that decision because it's so much easier to just be at my house remotely. That said, I feel like there's a quality of them. I have come to the conclusion that there's a quality of these meetings that we get in person that we don't get when it's remote. And I do believe that members of the public should be able to access us and not have us always be behind the screen. And so this really
That is also
for
an
hybrid.
access, sorry to interrupt you. That's also an
Exactly.
access issue, right? If it's entirely remote, then there are people who
Yeah.
can't access it either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible that there are people who can't access it either way, but this at least opens it up as much as possible.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so I think am I right that, just so I know which clause I'm looking into more, is it? And I'm asking the members of the committee, 49.7D, is
Yep,
it, that's the
that's where
one?
I found
Okay,
it.
great. I am committed to making sure that there is, we went back and forth with this, and maybe this one, and maybe something else. We talked about interpretation services. Like, we talked about a lot of things. Yeah, interpretation. We put reasonable access to accommodate and assist persons with limited English proficiency. And Kathy, we had a little bit more strict language on that, but we realized we don't currently have a line item in the budget for that. And so we worked with Kathy on this language, and this is what she.
And that's something I would be interested to talk to Fernando about also, because people have all sorts of feelings about AI, but that is something
Yeah, I would
that
say
AI can do for people online, especially
Oh, that's really interesting.
very easily. Yeah.
No one's mentioned that yet. Okay, and then another piece that I haven't mentioned yet is that in the early summer, Kathy and I went back and forth. We're working together to create new language for the beginnings of all agendas of these bodies that share about how people can give public comment, so that people understand when they look at an agenda, how they can give public comment. I think we almost landed the language and then we paused it because it became election season. So I'm going to reach out to her again and then before the next meeting to, that language doesn't need to be part of the ordinance, but I feel like it's kind of mundane, but I feel excited about having language that tells people how they can participate. So I'm writing a note to self. So preamble. Yeah, any other questions about 49.7? Or the entire thing?
Like a question / comment, like, all this sounds great. And thank you for working on this and talking to everybody and like spending time on it. I'm like, should I be finding something controversial in it? Like, I'm like, good. Like,
We actually are allowed to all agree on.
okay. Like,
You're not-
allowed to argue. Like,
It's not a debate.
We can joke. I think it's a good idea.
but yeah, I just think it's a good idea. But then I was thinking, like, just if you're asking me to like really pull things apart and think about it more, like around, this is more just like a question or comment about public comment, is like, you have to be there at the time of the meeting to give public comment. But there's no way that I guess you can send someone else to give your written public comment, or like, because I guess the timing, just time is a access barrier. So if someone wants to be able to provide public comment that they email to the city council, and then the city council could like read it at the time of public comment, or I don't know, just thinking that's like, doesn't need to be in this, but just is another.
Yeah, I can say that members of the public have asked for that.
Okay.
And the main reason, I mean, myself, for a reason that I've said, no, we're not going to read lots of emails, is our time too. I mean, we're glorified volunteers, and I think the asynchronous nature of us having the ability to read emails, which I do, and I expect that everyone else does, instead of us having to sit here having things read aloud to us, is also an honoring of our time and everything that we give as counselors.
And it may be important to note, you might know this already, but everything that is emailed to us is also public record. So that's where, I think
Everything is public record.
that goes to your concern. Like, it doesn't have to be in the public comment period to be a public comment, because everything that people send us about an issue is also public record.
And is published or is available. If
It's
someone doesn't-
available if someone requests, yeah.
Yeah.
But only if someone requests.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they'd have to make a request it's not like all of our emails are
right.
published on the web. That would be time and labor, but they're all available, through public information request.
Because it gets really tricky too, like people email us on multiple topics at one time, and like some
Thousands.
emails that like we don't and really can't be in the business of like determining which and keeping track of which emails, go with which issues. So
And time caps are harder to enforce for an email.
yep.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
But like, for the most part, most committee chairs will like kind of summarize if there's like a bunch of emails about one specific topic. They'll be like, we got a bunch of emails about X, Y, and Z.
Oh, cool.
So they'll like be acknowledged in the meeting, or like any committee member can be like, I received an email about this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thanks. So, sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to look into I'm going to invite Fernando and maybe also Matt, Javier from the ACLU, and the piece I'm going to look into with him around the law is the reasonable piece. And share these specific questions with Fernando. All right,
Great. Thank you. This is really exciting. I
yeah,
think that this would be a great thing for Greenfield to implement.
agreed. Yeah.
Thanks for all of your work on it, which is clearly a lot.
Yeah, well, feels good to do something kind of groundbreaking and seems kind of mundane, but also really important to increase public access. Okay, so I think we've come to the time where we announce our next meeting, which will be Wednesday, December. Seriously, the time? Oh, okay, just,
No, it's not.
No.
That's an hour. That's an hour. It hasn't been set back yet.
I'm like, I don't know what time it is. Okay.
Lights fast.
Wow. Next meeting, Wednesday, December 11th, 2024 at 6:30 PM in the City Hall Meeting Room, second floor Zoom hybrid. Can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Counselor Master Tutaro.
Yes.
Counselor Minhas.
Yes.
Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Counselor Gordon.
Yes.
Counselor Goldberg. It's a yes.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Meeting is adjourned, so I can.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks.
Good
all.
night. Thank you for
And-
coming.